Working with BIM as a noun, one is immediately drawn to the 3D model. But it's critical to note that it's a particular type of 3D model, not the type that makes a pretty image. These types of 3D models are just empty shells, made for the purpose of probably just creating this very picture. And they serve their purpose, but they're not BIM. BIM has a couple critical components, thus it's called an information model. So there's two parts to BIM, the model and information associated to the model. The physical/virtual manifestation of the model is a 3D model that is multidiscipline. So the idea here is all disciplines are working simultaneously within the same virtual space, building and designing on top of each other. Now, how simultaneous it is depends on the tools you're using and your degree of connectivity, but the concept is you have multiple disciplines. Here we're showing architectural, structural, mechanical, electrical, and furniture. All of these disciplines own their content, but they're all working together in the same space. So you may be authoring pieces of a project or a model, but you're authoring it in conjunction with an interrelationship with every single other component that will possess the 3D space. This is just a corner of a building, and the number of disciplines can be anywhere from 2 to up to 10, depending on the complexity of what you're modeling. But the critical thing, as I keep iterating, is everybody's working in the same virtual space. So that vertical duct shaft, those vertical columns, the furniture, the electrical, everything's being built and designed simultaneously with an interrelationship with each other. The final component to BIMTheNoun is the information. There is some type of information on every single component that's placed within the model. What you're seeing here is the data property for a condensing unit. This data property is defined within the BIM application and applied to its respective component when that component is placed within the model. Most of our BIM tools today, regardless of platform, actually force the user to select some fundamental pieces of information so that anything modeled, no matter what, will have an element of information and thus is BIM. So for CH2M Hill, out of the box, if we're doing, quote, 3D modeling, we're actually doing BIM all the time. An example of the fundamental information, I have one of the BIM applications open. If I select Place Door, you can see that it gives me the physical manifestation of the door as well as a series of information that I can enter into the door, which would subsequently turn into the door schedule. The same with Place Window, a different series of information, and Place Louver. So no matter what, when I select these components to place into the model, they will automatically contain whatever information I decide to fill out from these pull downs. As well, if I select Place Light, for the electrical component, you see a whole different type. And a lot of the information is automatically filled in depending on what kind of light I actually select. And if I say Place Mechanical, same concepts here. Depending on the type of information or the type of mechanical component I select, I'll get a different set of predefined data. So the BIM tools, again, regardless of platform, create the physical manifestation as well as a starting point for the information. Couples them both together and the component is placed in your model. And once it's in the model, it can be queried and the information can be collected and taken out.